Welcome back to our channel. So today I want to talk about my pregnancy. So I had a very difficult pregnancy and it was not something I expected at all. So I had a condition called Hyperemesis Gravidarum, and today I really wanted to just talk about it and bring awareness to it for those that don't know what it is, or say you do know somebody that is experiencing it, how you can possibly help them. Pregnancy for me was not fun. It was not a beautiful experience. Honestly, it was traumatizing. I feel like for the majority of my pregnancy, I just was not in a happy space. I was mentally, physically exhausted 24/7, hungry 24/7, and it was just not a good experience. Just a small disclaimer, everything I say in this video is from my experience and information I found on the topic. It's not to be used as medical advice. Again, if you do have any questions, you can always message me. But I always do suggest that you check in with your healthcare provider before taking any type of medication that I took. Okay, so if you were to Google hyperemesis, also known as HG, the definition says a severe type of nausea and vomiting during pregnancy. Rarely, morning sickness is so severe that it is classified as hyperemesis gravidarum. So there's a very good website. It's called hyperemesis.org, and I'm going to link it in the description box below. And I honestly wish I found this website and this organization when I was going through my HG, because it's helped me a lot, and I think it breaks down exactly what HG is and how you can help people, and the resources and just a lot of support there on the website, on their Instagram. So I'm going to link all of that in the description box. Hyperemesis.org, their definition I feel is more specific to exactly what it is, and it doesn't just say severe nausea and vomiting. So their definition says HG is defined as a potentially life-threatening pregnancy disease that may cause weight loss, malnutrition, dehydration, and debility due to severe nausea or vomiting, and may cause long-term health issues for mother and baby/babies. So I feel like that definition is exactly on point of what HG is, and that's what I had. So now I'm going to start, and I'm going to tell you about my story. So I found out I was pregnant at exactly 4 weeks. So my HG started at exactly 5 weeks, and unfortunately it started for me on Thanksgiving Day. So during that time, I was throwing up about 5-6 times a day. I wasn't really taking anything or doing much for it, because at this time I did not know it was HG. I just thought it was like a morning sickness. So I was following all the remedies that my friends would tell me and people would tell me. Ginger ale, crackers, these little Priggy Pops, I was taking those. None of that was working for me. So if I would eat, I would throw up. If I didn't eat, I would throw up. So I actually had a GYN appointment at 6 weeks. That was just for my annual. It just so happened that I was 6 weeks pregnant. So when I did go to that appointment, I did ask my GYN, like, hey, is there anything that you can give me? Any type of medication? Because I could not function at this point. I had not been to work in about 2 weeks because I was so sick. Also at this point, at 6 weeks, I did tell my job that I was pregnant because I could not go to work, and it was that bad. So I didn't have an OB appointment schedule until 8 weeks. So at 6 weeks, my GYN told me to take things like ginger root. I think it was like 500 milligrams. I think it was vitamin B supplements I was taking. I'm not sure. It was over-the-counter medication. It wasn't anything prescribed. Those medications did not work for me. So ginger root, all that stuff, those remedies she was talking to me about, those things did not work for me. So that was that 6 weeks. Fast forward to the following week, 7 weeks, I ended up in the emergency room. So at this point, it was 5 days. I did not eat. I did not drink. I attempted to, but everything I ate or had anything to drink, I would throw it up. I was extremely dehydrated at this point, and I felt lightheaded, weak. I was like, okay, I know I need to go to the hospital now. Didn't know if the baby was okay. I didn't know if my body was doing okay. To the ER, and of course I tell them, okay, I'm pregnant. I should be about 6-7 weeks. I'm not really sure. I've been constantly throwing up, and I cannot hold anything down. Not even water, ginger ale, nothing like that. So also I have not been to work at 2 weeks at this point. So what got me upset was that the guy told me, oh no, this is normal. So that's one thing that it was not. I know that people do get nauseous when they are pregnant, but throwing up, constantly feeling dizzy, not being able to even go to work at all, that's not how it's supposed to be. So they gave me Zofran inside the emergency room, and that helped me 1,000%. They also gave me like fluids because I was dehydrated. They didn't do an ultrasound or anything like that on me. They asked me if I had any bleeding. I was not, so they didn't do an ultrasound or anything like that. They just gave me Zofran, and they gave me fluids for the dehydration. At 8 weeks, I finally had my 8-week OB appointment. That was my first appointment. At this point, I had not been to work in about 2 to 3 weeks. Mind you, I was only 8 weeks pregnant. So when I go to the OB appointment, this was in December, the second week of December. Luckily, the baby was healthy. I was not doing good, but the baby was doing very good, which I was like relieved. I still did not tell people or announce my pregnancy because again, I was pretty sure I lost a little bit of weight, but I did not weigh myself at this point. My OB, I'm so happy that she did listen to me and she did not brush me off. She did not think that I was being extra dramatic. So she called in about 5 different medications for me, and she basically said, okay, take this. If this doesn't work, then take this. If this doesn't work, then take that. So initially I wanted Zofran because it worked so good. It stopped the dizziness. It stopped the throwing up. It was like, that's like a magical medication. When I did leave the ER initially, they gave me a prescription for Zofran. Come to find out, my insurance did not cover it. So that meant I would have to pay, I think it was it was about 90 something dollars for 6 pills. Mind you, I think you were supposed to be taking these pills like twice every few hours. So $90, 6 pills, it just didn't make any sense, and I literally wanted to cry because my insurance didn't. When I did go to my OB, she called in the prescriptions for promethazine, metoclopramide, and she called in a few other medications, but I do know that it was promethazine and metoclopramide, which is also known as Reglan. So the promethazine, that makes you tired, so I was only able to take that at nighttime. I think I took it only twice, but I'm like, okay, this is not gonna work because I have to go to work. So that I had to rule that out. And then I tried Reglan, which is the metoclopramide, and I took that 4 times a day, and that ended up working for me. I still did throw up, but it made it so that I can at least digest for the majority of it. So say I had 5 small meals a day, I would throw up probably 3 meals a day. She said I can take that as long as I want, the whole pregnancy if I wanted to. The Reglan started to work for me at about 10 weeks. So again, 2 weeks even after my OB appointment, it was still really intense. At 10 weeks, I still have not been to work. Just a reminder. So it helped me be able to do daily activities like taking a shower, fixing my hair, maybe for like 5 minutes I was able to like do something with my hair, I was able to get up and make my own meals, because even at 10 weeks I could not make my own meals. I couldn't do anything for myself. I still was taking a shower probably every other day, because standing too long inside the shower, I would get too lightheaded, dizzy, and then I would throw up. So yes, Reglan, that was week 10. Hyperemesis lasted until week 20. It did calm down starting at week 14. So starting at week 14, that's when I noticed a big difference. That's when my hyperemesis started getting better. So I was still throwing up about 1 time a day. I did still feel constantly nauseous and dizzy, but I was taking the Reglan 4 times a day. So I did take that from weeks 8 to week 30. Around week 20, I would say my hyperemesis basically kind of went away. I still felt nauseous and dizzy. That's why I did continue to take the Reglan up until week 30. So at week 14, I still could not work. At this point, I've been out of work for almost 3 months. Even though the Reglan allowed me to take care of myself, to do daily activities, I still did need help with a lot of things. I couldn't do a lot of things by myself. So what helped me out is I was not able to have full meals. I was only able to have small snacks. If I would chew too much or for too long, it would make me throw up. What I did realize what helped me was black coffee. Surprisingly, because I never drink black coffee, but that did help me like keep things down. I was eating Gatorade. I was drinking Gatorade. I also had these little hydration packs that I would like put inside of my water. With hyperemesis, even if I didn't eat, I would still throw up, and I would throw up bile. But even at nighttime, I would throw up. So even if I decided to go to sleep in the middle of the night, I would wake up 2 or 3 times throughout the night to throw up, even if there was nothing to throw up. Okay, so during the time that I had my hyperemesis in full effect, I was very tired. I was very hungry. I could not work. What else? I needed constant support. I was at a very low place. I felt like my body was not working how it was supposed to. I felt like pregnancy should have been a breeze for me. I felt like this was not how it was supposed to be. The only thing I was worried about my entire pregnancy was, oh, maybe I'm going to have to go to the gym and just work out, and I'm going to have my nice little belly. And I never expected that I would get so sick. I never expected that I would be unable to work. I never expected needing so much help from everybody around me. My mother, my sister, and my boyfriend helped me 1,000%. They supported me 1,000%. Not only mentally, physically, financially, that was a big thing. Being so hungry and not being able to eat, that was like the main thing that is crazy. Feeling like you're starving all the time and being unsure if you're okay, if your baby's okay. Those are just things that you go through when you're dealing with hyperemesis. I constantly would say to myself, I cannot do this. I don't know how I'm gonna make it to the end if like I'm gonna continue being this sick. I did not see like the light at the end of the tunnel, which was my son, but he was definitely there. He was definitely fine, thankfully. But a lot of people, they don't have it that way. I feel like I'm not going to try to downplay my hyperemesis because it was bad and it does affect me a lot mentally and physically. I ended up losing about 15 pounds within 3 months. I didn't start gaining any weight in my pregnancy up until 20 weeks. One of those things that a lot of people, they brushed it off as morning sickness or everybody's this sick in the beginning, and that's not the case. I'm going to actually put a PDF on hyperemesis.org. They have a very good PDF that shows the difference between morning sickness and hyperemesis, like side to side. I'm going to put it up on the screen. What I needed to be reminded of and what I needed to be told constantly was that I was not a burden to anybody. I needed to be fully supported. I needed to be nice to myself. I needed to be kind to myself. I feel like a lot of people with hyperemesis, you will think like, why me? Why is this happening to me? Why is my body doing this to me? And that's exactly how I felt. I just had a very bad relationship with food, a very bad relationship with myself. I was just very angry, and I'm not a depressed person, but at that point in my life I was depressed. I hated pregnancy and I hate everything about it, and I wouldn't wish hyperemesis on anybody. What people don't talk about is the financial cost. You have to make sure that financially, especially when it comes to thinking of future pregnancies, you have to think about financially, am I going to be able to do this? To think I'm going to be out of work for probably my entire pregnancy. I personally was not able to work up until 5 months, and then at the 5th month, when I was like, okay, I'm feeling good enough that I can go back to work, the pandemic hit, so I wasn't able to do that. But a lot of women need to consider, like, they don't talk about the financial strain it can cause on you, your relationship, your family, if you are unable to work for 5-6 months and then you're going to have a baby, which then you're going to have to take even more time off of work. And a lot of people can lose their health insurance. A lot of health insurance won't cover certain medications, so that's another factor. I could not imagine not doing this with any type of support. I honestly found hyperemesis.org actually towards the end of my pregnancy, and I wish I would have found them in the beginning. It's a really nice support system. It's a lot of information on that website, which I encourage people to look there and to find support, find encouragement, and educate yourselves, and just be there for anybody who is experiencing HG. It's really not easy. It's really not fun. I wish pregnancy was a better experience for me. I'm very thankful that I was able to carry a child, able to have a healthy baby. Some women get HG so bad their organs can start shutting down. They're on feeding tubes. They're hospitalized for weeks, months at a time. So honestly, I feel like I was one of the lucky ones. Big question that I see a lot and that I even ask myself is, do I want more children? Would I get pregnant again? Will I go through another pregnancy because I'm probably going to have HG again? Honestly, before having my son, I was like, no, absolutely, I would never get pregnant ever again. After having my son, he is definitely worth it. My HG wasn't so severe where I was hospitalized, thankfully. But again, that's not something that I know will be the case the next time if I was to have another child. I'm very unsure of what the future holds for me as far as having more children, because that pregnancy was just so bad. My pregnancy was so bad mentally, physically, emotionally, and financially. It took a strain on a lot, not only me but my family. I'm just thankful I did have the support. Even though I did have support, I needed more support. I needed my friends to understand that I wasn't just pregnant. I needed to understand that I was going through a lot mentally. Like, it was a real mental challenge to be in a happy place while I was pregnant, which was like not good, because when I think back, even when I see pictures on Instagram of people, I'm just like, man, I wish I could have had a positive pregnancy experience. Luckily, my delivery was smooth and everything came out fine and my son was healthy. But pregnancy was really bad for me. I definitely recommend any women who've had HG, or maybe you had family members that had HG and you think you might get it if you become pregnant. I would definitely just make sure you have money saved. I would make sure you have a support system there to take care of you if you can't, because you literally will not even be able to feed yourself. Like, my sister would spoon feed me while I was laying down. I couldn't get up for more than 5 minutes during the day. I was in bed. Even when I was inside of bed, the room was spinning. So that's really why I could not go to work for so long. It's really hard to explain unless you go through it, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and that light at the end of the tunnel will be your baby. And I know it's easier to say because I've been through it and I'm already past it, but it is, honestly, I always tell people, slow and steady wins the race. You have to take it day by day. You have to really talk to your doctor, talk to your OB, and make sure they're on the same page as you, and they listen to you, because if you have a doctor that does not listen to you, does not want to give you medications or try different medications, doesn't believe that it's as severe as you say it is, I would really recommend getting a different doctor. Luckily, my doctor was completely on board and wanted me to feel better and look better as soon as possible. It really did help me in the long run. I also just want to remind people to be kind to yourself, be kind to your body, because growing a life is not easy. You are taking care of somebody that has HG. Growing a life is not easy. Whether it's a complicated pregnancy or not, it's still very hard on your body. Again, I would recommend going to hyperemesis.org for anybody that's struggling. Their Instagram is at HGMoms. Also, you could find a lot of women there that are going through the same thing as you if you are experiencing HG. Or if you just want to know more about it, you can see people that are just going through it. A lot of women in the comments. It's a nice community, and I think that a lot of people will benefit from there. So you can always feel free to message me or DM me on Instagram if you guys have any questions, or if any women are experiencing HG and you just want a little bit more, or if you just want to have a conversation, vent, because it was really hard for me going through that when nobody understood how severe it was and how low I felt. So just remember, ladies, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm really praying for the best for everybody that is experiencing HG. And if you have experienced HG, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Thanks for watching my video. Subscribe, like, and share. I'm really just trying to bring awareness to this condition that happens during pregnancy. Just remind everybody that pregnancy is not easy for everyone, and pregnancy is not the same for everyone, and you don't know how your body's going to handle pregnancy until you're pregnant, just like me. So thanks for watching, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.